Okay, quick tutorial on a basic floor movement from Capoeira. If you're not a capoeirista, it's okay. I just want to let you know where it comes from so you understand that if you want to take it deeper, I highly suggest taking a Capoeira class because there's a whole vocabulary of floor movement that comes with it. This one's good for a lot of general fitness purposes as well, and I'll use this in my warm-up sometimes when teaching class, and I notice people often have issues with it. And it's an interesting movement because it's actually quite simple, but people have a tendency to overcomplicate it a lot more than they need to. Learn this in person, please. YouTube video, it doesn't go through all the details. This is just so you understand some of the basics so that you're more prepared when you go to a class and learn it in person. So, I would call this move the Role, although different groups have different terminology. So, I'll just show you what it looks like. And the way I'm doing this in my warm-up, again, there's a lot of ways to do it. I just want to make it clear that this is what I'm trying to get out of it, is I just go one way all the way down the floor as a floor movement. So, a little bit of distance. It's going to look like this. And I just stay on the floor and I'll go all the way down. So the other side, show a little bit different angle like this. Other side. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. There's a lot of factors going on, so there's a bit of mobility going on, there's arm support, there's rotation and spotting a target. So it's, yeah, and it's a low, whatever you want to call it, low gait floor movement, so there's a lot of benefits there. Just the basics, because I could go on for a very long time. So just to give you an idea, the positioning is really important. So this is the position we're going to be in. Some groups might call this the Negativa position. Some groups call Negativa the full movement. So let's call it Negativa position for now. So we have most of the weight is posted on this leg, this bent leg. And this leg is not in a pistol squat. It's on the toes. And then you got that heel to the butt support. So the reason we don't do a pistol position is because it kind of forces you to lean back in your chest. And when you lean back, it's easy to fall. You don't have any options of where to go. So you actually want to stay a little bit more forward in the chest. And it's a lot easier to do that if you let the knee go forward. You don't want to already be used to doing stuff from a low squat, so you should have knees prepared for that in the first place. But it's not really hard on the knee because I'm not doing this. I'm here, so I'm not really using any muscular engagement because I have that heel to the butt holding me. So most of the weight is going to be on that bent leg. The other leg is out in front. It's, show you a better view, it's turned out to the side. So it's not completely locked, but the knee is straight, it's loose, there's not really any weight on it. The rest of the weight is on this opposite hand posted up like this. And then again, if you're doing it as a capoeirista, generally you're going to have an arm up also protecting your face because people might want to kick you when you're down. That's how it goes. That's how life goes. So you have to play with this position a little bit. You can shift back and forth. I can do this push up here. There's a lot of stuff that I can do. So it's good to be able to play with it. That's going to be a different tutorial. I just want to go over this Role spinning move and how to go into it. So that's position number one. Negativa position, and see, I'll show you from the side. Right? Show you from this side. Well, so my chest is a little bit forward. I don't want to be leaning back onto the arm. Very, very important. Second position is going to be, I don't even know what to call that position, but it's going to look like this. So, kind of like a downward dog. You don't want to be in a push-up position. You want the foot pretty close to the hands, and you want your butt up in the air. So because this can be a kick, this can be a lot of things. So, and then really important in this position, I'll show you what it looks like from here. That's what you want. So I don't know if you can see, I'm looking at the camera. So the point is, we're not looking at the floor. When you're doing the spin, the rotation, you're actually looking at one point the whole time as you rotate your head around your body. Like that. See, I'm always looking at the camera. So that's the other idea that we want to have. If you're doing it just for the sake of movement, just for fun, you don't have to be super strict about that. But if you do it within a context of capoeira or other martial arts, you want to look. You don't want to take your eyes off your opponent, your partner, whatever. So those two positions, and then the transition between them. So I'm going to start, number one, Negativa position, and there's going to be a little bit of initiation with this foot. You don't have to, but it's a little bit easier if you just kind of sweep. Oh, and I get on top of it into position 2. And now here's the hard part. This leg, the one that's bent, that's going to go underneath my hip for the landing. And then I switch hands. So, position 1, position 2, position 3. So that foot is going directly under the hip, and then I finish the rotation and I turn with the hands. One mistake that people make is that landing, and for me the easiest thing to think about is one leg is always straight, one leg is always bent. So you're always in the same position, but what they do is they go here. I don't even know. Well, yeah, they try to land on this leg and they switch legs. So it's not wrong, it's just harder, it's a different movement. And if we're going all the way down the floor, the same thing, that's going to break the flow. So you want to be landing in the same position. Other tip, this happens sometimes if people aren't used to being on the floor. You want your flat hands on the floor, you don't want to do this. This isn't stable. And then if your weight goes the wrong way, you can actually push your thumb back and dislocate it. And I've done that a few times. So fair warning. And yeah, so what other mistakes? Distance. If you go like this in a push-up position, it's quite difficult to make that roll smooth. And then it's a rotation around the foot, so make sure, can you see that foot in the camera? So the foot goes out, I go in on top of the foot, and then there's another rotation. Right? So that rotation, very important. Looking, switching hands, and then it's like anything else, it's an awkward movement. Capoeira is kind of like that. It's a lot of awkward movements. They're not natural. They won't come naturally to you. You have to practice them a lot to become less awkward. So as long as you follow the path, as long as you don't break up the movement, you keep it going and you just do enough reps till you get more consistent with it. Don't worry too much yet. Just try to follow these basic instructions that I gave you. So let's just do a couple in a row now. So from this distance, I'm going to look forward the whole time. I'm going to go always to my right. So from here, I go foot on top, shifts back, and then hands. One more time. And then shift. You want to always try to be very conscious of your weight transitions because that's what allows you to be soft. And you should not be heavy with any of these movements because you're on the floor the whole time. So there's not really any excuse for impact. Going to the other side. So right, chest a little bit forward. Start with the leg. Whoa. Whoa. And see, I momentarily pass through this kind of pistol squat position, but with the heel up. Then I switch the hands. Whoa. 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 And now I'm going to switch. So, this is not by any means the end all. This is like barely even an introduction to capoeira floor movement. I'm very much a student of capoeira. I'm not an instructor. This is just, I think, an interesting movement that you can bring into different practices, and it just follows different laws that, because it's awkward and because it's simple but complex to learn, there's a lot that you can learn about yourself from it. So if you're interested in learning more about acrobatics, floor movements, handstands, I teach workshops all over the world. I offer online coaching. I have an online training group called the Physical Philosophy Project where we do a lot of different stuff. It just started, but we're going to have a different topic every month. So you can check those out on my website, link below. If you like this tutorial and you like these kind of movements, I do actually suggest training capoeira with an instructor because it's a very deep art form. It goes a lot further than just the movements themselves, even though those are very interesting and complex. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, give it a go, and let me know what else you'd like to see.